Agreed. He's always had this surplus, if you will.
What if the biggest sister wives scandal didn't happen on camera, but quietly behind closed doors, hidden in paperwork no one was supposed to see? For years, viewers were told the Brown family was struggling financially, barely holding things together while juggling for households and nearly 20 children. But now, explosive allegations are tearing through the fandom, suggesting that while some wives were barely getting by, Kody and Robyn Brown were living a completely different financial reality. At the center of the controversy is the infamous Flagstaff mansion, a home reportedly purchased for around $900,000. From the moment it was bought, fans questioned how a family that constantly spoke about money problems could afford such a property. Those questions are now turning into something far more serious, because according to multiple sources, that purchase may have been built on misrepresented income, questionable residency claims, and financial paperwork that simply doesn't add up. And the most shocking part? The person allegedly holding the evidence isn't an outsider, a fan, or a former employee. It's Meri Brown. After more than 30 years of loyalty, years of being sidelined, emotionally neglected, and publicly humiliated, sources claim Meri uncovered troubling financial documents while untangling her own assets during her separation from Kody. This time, she reportedly didn't stay silent. She brought receipts. If even part of what's being alleged is true, the carefully crafted image of Kody and Robyn as overwhelmed, struggling parents could collapse entirely, exposing what some fans are already calling one of the biggest financial deceptions in reality TV history. The reaction has been explosive. Social media is on fire. Reddit threads are overflowing with timelines, screenshots, and financial theories. Even longtime supporters who once defended Kody and Robyn are now demanding answers. One viewer summed it up bluntly: "We always knew something was off with their finances, but this is worse than anyone imagined." And the anger isn't coming out of nowhere. Viewers watched Christine struggle for stability. They watched Janelle living in an RV on Coyote Pass. They watched Meri get emotionally discarded, left to build her own future through her bed and breakfast business. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Kody and Robyn were allegedly benefiting from a steady flow of family resources that many now believe were never distributed equally. What makes this scandal even more explosive is the timing. Christine has moved on and rebuilt her life. Janelle has declared her independence. Meri has finally walked away. And now, the one wife who remained at Kody's side, the one who allegedly benefited the most, is at the center of claims that could carry serious legal consequences. Insiders point to multiple red flags: income figures on loan applications that allegedly don't match other disclosures, claims of primary residence across multiple properties, a paper trail that tells a very different story than what viewers were shown on television for over a decade. According to one real estate fraud expert familiar with similar cases, these patterns, if accurate, are exactly the kind that trigger formal investigations. This is no longer about favoritism or failed marriages. This is about potential mortgage fraud, a federal offense with real prison time attached. The Flagstaff house has been controversial from day one. With its size, views, and luxury features, it stood in stark contrast to the rest of the family's living situations. While Kody justified the purchase as a necessity for a large family, critics pointed out that many of Robyn's children were already nearing adulthood, and the timing came just as the family was supposedly reeling from the costly move from Las Vegas. As one insider allegedly put it, Kody and Robyn were living a champagne lifestyle while presenting a beer budget narrative. And the only way that works is if someone is playing games with the numbers. Sources now claim this wasn't a one-time incident, but part of a broader pattern involving multiple properties and years of financial maneuvering, hidden behind constant moves, emotional chaos, and the distractions of reality TV. And that brings us back to Meri Brown, long portrayed as the difficult wife, the needy one, the embarrassment after the catfishing scandal. But according to those close to the situation, Meri's final years in the marriage marked a turning point. While separating her finances from the family, she allegedly discovered inconsistencies that left her stunned. After decades of defending a man who had already emotionally checked out, she may have become the one person willing to expose what was really happening behind the scenes. The question now is simple, and it's one the fandom can't stop asking. What exactly did Meri find, and how far is she willing to take it? Kody used every opportunity to downplay her sacrifices.
It felt like it changed. And it wasn't fair to her. And I'm not saying it was fair to them.
And magnify her mistakes. Robyn, meanwhile, carefully positioned herself as the good wife, the understanding one, the supportive partner who supposedly knew Kody better than anyone else. But according to these allegations, while viewers were distracted by Meri's supposed flaws, the real financial maneuvering may have been happening in an entirely different household. One longtime fan summed it up bluntly online, saying Meri was being gaslit into believing she was the problem, while Kody and Robyn were allegedly running a whole financial operation behind the scenes. What makes Meri's alleged role in exposing this situation so significant is her access. As Kody's legal wife for most of their marriage, Meri had legitimate reasons to review financial records, tax documents, and property paperwork. Sources claim that during her separation, she fully exercised that access, and what she allegedly found painted a troubling picture of long-term financial deception. One insider put it plainly, Meri didn't just walk away hurt. She walked away with receipts. And Kody never saw it coming because he stopped taking her seriously years ago. The timing of these revelations is also telling. Meri officially announced her separation from Kody in early 2023, and in the months that followed, she remained unusually quiet about the details behind her decision. According to sources, that silence may have been intentional. Rather than engaging in public drama, Meri allegedly allowed the legal process to unfold while the evidence she discovered moved quietly through appropriate channels. But Meri was not the only wife who reportedly sensed something was wrong. Janelle and Christine may have known far more than they ever said publicly, and what they allegedly know could add even more fuel to this growing fire. While Kody and Robyn were living comfortably in their Flagstaff mansion, the other sister wives were facing a starkly different financial reality. Janelle Brown, arguably the family's most consistent income contributor over the years, found herself living in an RV on Coyote Pass after separating from Kody. Let that reality sink in. A woman who worked throughout her marriage, helped support 18 children, and repeatedly sacrificed her own stability for the sake of the family ended up living in a recreational vehicle, while her husband's favored wife lived in a $900,000 home. If that contrast doesn't make you angry, you're not paying attention. Janelle has remained diplomatic in public when discussing finances, but sources claim she questioned where the money was going for years. Kody, they say, always had explanations, and Janelle wanted to believe him. Now, insiders allege she is comparing notes with Meri and Christine, and what they are uncovering appears to confirm their worst fears about how family resources were allegedly distributed. According to sources, the Sister Wives group chat has never been more active. Christine's story provides another sharp contrast. When she left the family in 2021, she emphasized financial independence. She sold her Flagstaff home, moved to Utah, and rebuilt her life without Kody's involvement. At the time, fans praised her strength. In hindsight, her clean break looks even smarter. Sources suggest Christine wanted no part of the family's financial entanglements and may have sensed trouble brewing. One person close to her allegedly said Christine just wanted out clean, far away from anything that might eventually explode. What makes these allegations even more unsettling is how Kody and Robyn have presented themselves publicly throughout all of this. On the show, they consistently portray themselves as victims of circumstance, overwhelmed parents simply trying to hold a fractured family together. Robyn, in particular, perfected the tearful interview, repeatedly insisting that all she ever wanted was unity. But the financial allegations tell a very different story. While Robyn cried over the family falling apart, she and Kody were allegedly building a comfortable lifestyle the other wives could only dream of. One viral fan comment captured the sentiment perfectly. Robyn's tears are allegedly paid for with money that should have gone to the whole family. Then there's Coyote Pass, once marketed as the family's shared dream and future. Instead, It has become a symbol of broken promises and alleged financial manipulation. Janelle reportedly invested significant resources into the property, only to find herself effectively without a home, while Kody showed little interest in developing the land for anyone other than himself and Robyn. Sources claim documentation exists, suggesting that funds intended for Coyote Pass development were allegedly diverted elsewhere. But the paper trail doesn't stop there. Online investigators have been digging into public records for months, compiling timelines, loan data, and property transactions. What they claim to have uncovered paints a picture of long-term financial maneuvering that raises serious questions about how the Browns acquired and financed multiple properties. One researcher who has tracked the family for years wrote in a viral post, "Once you know where to look, the inconsistencies are everywhere." Property records allegedly contradict the family's repeated claims of financial hardship. Transaction timelines raise questions about strategic timing. And perhaps most concerning, sources allege discrepancies between loan application data and what the family publicly disclosed, including to TLC and possibly tax authorities. One person who claims to have reviewed the documents said the math simply doesn't work, adding that either someone was misleading lenders, the public, or both. Legal experts have weighed in, warning that mortgage fraud is not a minor issue. It is a federal offense that can carry severe penalties, including prison time and massive fines. While maximum sentences are rare, investigations alone can destroy careers and reputations, especially for public figures. Investigators have paid particular attention to the timing of certain purchases and refinances, which allegedly appear strategically structured to avoid scrutiny. One detailed analysis online noted that for a family that claims to struggle financially, they seem remarkably skilled at navigating the system. What strengthens these allegations is the source material itself. This isn't rumor or fan fiction. It's based on publicly available records, property filings, loan data, and documented timelines. One researcher summarized it simply, "This isn't about wanting them to fail. It's about accountability for alleged behavior that, if true, is illegal." And yet, Robyn's reaction may be the most revealing detail of all. The woman who built her sister-wives' persona around innocence and victimhood has gone silent. Since the allegations surfaced, Robyn has largely disappeared from social media. According to sources, that silence is deliberate. One insider claims she's been advised by legal counsel to say nothing. Another alleges Robyn is terrified because she may have signed documents without fully understanding what she was agreeing to. If true, it fits a long-standing pattern, claiming financial naivete while consistently benefiting from decisions made in her favor. Robyn entered the family with tens of thousands of dollars in debt that family resources allegedly helped eliminate. She quickly landed in the nicest homes, received the most support, and contributed the least financially. Even her nanny situation raised eyebrows, as fans questioned how household help was funded when other wives did everything themselves. One frustrated fan summed it up perfectly. "Robyn always says she doesn't understand money, but somehow the money always ends up with her." Kody's silence has been just as striking. A man who never hesitated to argue with critics has suddenly gone quiet. Sources claim he is consulting attorneys and attempting to assess his legal exposure. One insider said Kody is finally scared because charm doesn't work against federal investigations. The contrast is undeniable. When criticized for family dynamics, they fight back publicly. When portrayed negatively on the show, they complain. But on this issue, total silence. And in public relations, silence often means lawyers are involved. Behind closed doors, sources claim the pressure is mounting, and the once-idealized marriage between Kody and Robyn may finally be cracking. For years, Kody portrayed Robyn as a soulmate, the one partner he could always rely on. Now, that fairy tale may be unraveling. And the biggest question remains, if the allegations continue to gain traction, what happens next to Kody, Robyn, and the future of sister wives? But insiders now allege that the mounting legal pressure from these financial claims is exposing cracks in Kody and Robyn's relationship that Kody never anticipated. According to one person familiar with the situation, arguments inside the household have become constant. The couple is allegedly pointing fingers at each other, each trying to determine who will ultimately take the blame if the situation escalates. Sources describe a classic blame game unfolding behind closed doors, one that longtime viewers may find disturbingly familiar. Insiders claim Kody has been telling anyone who will listen that Robyn handled most of the paperwork related to their property transactions. Robyn, on the other hand, is allegedly insisting that she simply signed documents Kody put in front of her without fully understanding the details. It's the same dynamic the couple has displayed for years, Robyn claiming innocence, Kody claiming ignorance. But in the context of a potential federal fraud investigation, pointing fingers at your spouse doesn't protect either party. One source painted a bleak picture of the couple's current reality, describing the past few weeks as a nightmare inside the home. Kody allegedly believes Robyn should have been more careful, while Robyn reportedly feels Kody set her up to take the fall. Trust between them has allegedly collapsed. The united front they always presented to the public is reportedly crumbling, and the children are allegedly witnessing their parents' marriage unravel in real time. Another insider added that even Robyn's kids have begun asking questions about why everything suddenly feels like it's falling apart. This alleged marital turmoil could not come at a worse time for Kody and Robyn's ongoing attempt to rehabilitate their public image. For years, they have worked to reframe themselves as victims of circumstance, portraying the other wives as the ones who abandoned the family. They gave interviews, insisting they were the only ones trying to hold everything together. But these financial allegations undermine that narrative entirely. It's difficult to play the victim when you're allegedly living in a luxury mansion while former sister wives struggle financially. It's hard to claim you wanted family unity when you're accused of structuring finances to benefit yourself at everyone else's expense. Industry observers have drawn uncomfortable parallels between the Browns and other reality TV families who fell from grace. Teresa and Joe Giudice served prison time for fraud. Todd and Julie Crisley were sentenced to lengthy federal prison terms for financial crimes. In each case, the pattern was the same: a lavish lifestyle portrayed on television that didn't match actual financial reality, eventually leading to desperate decisions and legal consequences. And the implications of this alleged scandal extend far beyond Kody and Robyn's marriage. The future of Sister Wives itself may now be at risk. If the allegations are accurate, they raise serious questions not only about the Browns, but about TLC's role as well. The network has built its brand on authenticity, real families, real struggles, real lives. But if one of its longest-running families has allegedly engaged in financial fraud for years, the network could face uncomfortable questions about what it knew and when it knew it. Sources claim TLC has launched an internal review of the Browns' financial disclosures. Reality television contracts often require participants to provide certain financial information for insurance and liability purposes. If that information doesn't align with what was allegedly reported to lenders, the network could find itself in a legally complicated position. One entertainment industry insider explained that networks typically maintain plausible deniability regarding off-camera behavior. But if documentation shows that TLC possessed information contradicting what was allegedly provided to banks, that becomes a serious problem. The long-term future of Sister Wives is now uncertain. While the show has delivered strong ratings for more than a decade, a federal investigation would make continued filming extremely difficult. Legal advisors usually instruct clients facing potential charges to avoid public appearances or statements. Even if the allegations ultimately prove unfounded, the publicity alone could make advertisers hesitant. Other reality TV scandals offer a roadmap. The Giudice's legal issues eventually consumed their storyline before ending their run. The Crisley show was canceled as their legal problems escalated. In each case, networks ultimately decided the reputational risk outweighed the ratings reward. A television analyst put it bluntly, "No show is worth destroying a network's credibility." The fallout could also extend to other members of the Brown family. Kody's children, many of whom already have strained relationships with him, could potentially be drawn into investigations as witnesses. Jointly held properties may face scrutiny, and the already fractured family dynamic could deteriorate even further as pressure mounts. Sources claim several of Kody's children are allegedly losing what little respect they still had for him as details of the scandal continue to circulate. But the most urgent question remains: what legal consequences could Kody and Robyn actually face? Mortgage fraud is a serious federal crime, especially when it involves multiple properties or large sums of money. If the allegations prove true, potential consequences range from massive fines to prison sentences. Federal prosecutors are not swayed by celebrity status, and history shows that fame often makes authorities more determined to pursue accountability. Legal experts reviewing publicly available information have expressed concern. One attorney specializing in financial crimes described the alleged behavior as a textbook mortgage fraud pattern. Another analyst warns that a long timeline involving multiple transactions could elevate the case from a simple error to organized fraud, which carries significantly harsher penalties. For context, federal mortgage fraud charges can carry sentences of up to 30 years in prison and fines reaching $1 million. Past reality TV cases offer sobering examples. Teresa and Joe Giudice both served prison time, with Joe ultimately deported. Todd and Julie Crisley received a combined 19-year federal sentence. In every case, fame offered no protection. Beyond criminal exposure, civil consequences could be equally devastating. Banks can pursue financial recovery. Properties obtained through allegedly fraudulent means can be seized. Legal defense costs alone can bankrupt families, even if charges are ultimately avoided. One financial advisor who works with clients facing similar allegations said, "Even beating the case can ruin you financially. The emotional cost could be just as severe." Custody arrangements, financial obligations, and family relationships could all be impacted if criminal charges are filed. Children who already feel alienated may pull even further away. And beyond legality, fans are asking a deeper question: what does this all mean? For many viewers, this feels like the inevitable conclusion to a story years in the making. Kody Brown spent decades presenting himself as a righteous patriarch, a leader making difficult choices for the good of the family. He demanded loyalty while allegedly failing to return it. And now, according to these allegations, the entire foundation of that image may have been built on financial deception. The irony is impossible to ignore. Kody lost Christine, who found happiness elsewhere. He lost Janelle, who discovered independence. He lost Meri, who finally chose self-respect. He alienated many of his children. And now, according to insiders, he may be losing the one person who stood by him through everything, as his relationship with Robyn reportedly collapses under legal and financial pressure. One longtime viewer summed it up perfectly: "We were sold a show about sister wives. What we got was a documentary about how one man destroyed his entire family." The future of Kody and Robyn Brown remains uncertain. Will charges be filed? Will their marriage survive? Will TLC continue filming? Those answers will come in time. But the court of public opinion has already spoken, and its verdict is not favorable. For a man who avoided consequences for years, Kody Brown may finally be running out of exits. And for viewers who watch this saga unfold, there's a certain poetic justice in seeing alleged greed become his potential downfall. The walls may not be closing in yet, but they're getting closer. What do you think? Should Kody and Robyn face legal consequences, or has public opinion already delivered justice?